All right, got that done. So, hey everyone, this is Kevin, the Apptrepreneur. We're doing another live stream video. So, of course, I have to give the usual spiel out of the way. We've been doing a lot of these live streams recently, but well, that's just being in the house, of course. Have a lot of free time, not going anywhere, can't sleep. I could play some video games, but right now I want to play Final Fantasy VII Remake, and I can't because a news story broke that involves the financial aid program that Uber has, and I don't know why. I don't care that the Best Buy app stopped working. I'm not using it right now. But anyway, because Uber is actually changing the financial aid program for drivers. Now, before we get too far into this, I want to stress once again, this is a live stream. Therefore, for those of you watching in the future, if the video is an hour long, that means, yeah, we might go off topic. The whole hour might not be important. However, if you want the discussion on the story, on the headline itself, the first 15 minutes or so should suffice. So I see Sunny in here. Hello, Sunny from Texas, I believe. You've been in a lot of my live streams recently, so welcome. It's great to have you here. We've got 15 people watching, and we've got 4 thumbs up. Thank you, everyone, for the thumbs up. Always appreciative, always helps. So, some of you were a little disappointed earlier because, hey, Mark, hey, by the way, Mark, the guy who won the trivia game today said that I could give you the prize. So, if you want to claim a prize for the quiz show today, send me an email and I will let you pick your movie. And we will do another one of those. Interestingly, the quiz show thing was kind of an interesting experiment. The people who were there definitely seemed to like doing it, but I don't think a lot of people knew what it was. So hopefully that video will get out. Hopefully it will get shared. And maybe Sunday we'll do another one where there's like 50 people watching live and maybe we get like a real race. I'm already editing the quiz to put some new questions in, remove some other ones, make it really fun for everyone involved. So anyway, that's a little on the side. Let's talk about the main story and why I'm doing this live stream. Well, the reason I'm doing the live stream tonight is because I want to play Final Fantasy VII Remake, and I can't. My wife won't let me. We got to play that together. So, maybe I'll sneak onto Fantasy Star Online too, or something like that. Hey, Jody. But here's the thing. We've talked at length about Uber's little financial aid program for drivers. Basically, if you get the creepy crud that's going on out there, they will give you 2 weeks paid sick leave. Now, here's the thing. There's been some debate about whether or not this is positive or negative. I mean, here's the fact that you have to catch it first does not entirely discourage people from driving. And what's more, people who get it are having a hard time getting their benefits. And then there's that whole thing like, are we employees now officially that Uber is offering the sick pay? I think Uber is going to have some huge questions to answer when, okay, I'll email you some huge questions to answer when this is all said and done. However, Uber, who definitely could use a little bit of good publicity at this point in time, has actually announced that they are changing the financial aid program for the drivers to include drivers who are way late. So here's what the article says. It's from the Seattle Times, and I know I don't have my setup again. Wife's asleep. There you go. But anyway, amid complaints from ride-hailing drivers who were denied help, Uber has expanded its financial assistance program to include those who are at higher risk of becoming seriously ill from the C virus. Uber's initial criteria for payments left out older drivers or those with pre-existing medical conditions who were self-isolating for their own protection, leaving them to choose between financial loss and health concerns as officials urge people at risk to stay at home. The company will now offer aid to drivers and delivery people whose doctors told them to quarantine because they may be at higher risk of becoming seriously ill from this creepy crud, broadening previously narrow criteria that required drivers to show that they had the illness or were at risk of spreading the virus to others. Uber is allowing those who have driven in the last month to apply rather than accepting only those who had driven in the month leading up to March 6th when Uber first announced its assistance program. So, that all this positive. All of it positive. Can't complain about it too much. Is it a little late in the game? Yes, I agree. It's a little late in the game for them to be doing this. But hey, it's a positive. Now, this still does raise the question. This is just a pragmatic question, not like a, I'm going to turn this into a negative. I wonder how easy it is going to be to get this stuff. Now they've committed to fixing that, and they're even expanding it. That's all positive. That's all positive, because here's the thing: Uber has been buried in article after article of frustrated drivers basically getting sick, applying for this financial aid, and not getting anything from them. So I think Uber is doing this primarily to get some goodwill back, to turn it around a little bit. But again, it's all positive. This is not a negative. And what's more, this will encourage some drivers to stay home. Now, if there's one thing I wish that had been included, but I kind of understand why it's not, I do wish that for immediate family members, if they are at a higher risk and you are in close contact with those people, I think it would be nice if they had access to this little payout, if you will, this little financial aid program. I understand why that's probably not possible, though, because it's, anyone can say that. Like, oh yeah, no. It's not me who's at a higher risk. It's my son, or it's my grandma, or it's my aunt who I technically don't see very often, but I could decide to see her just randomly during this pandemic. So I understand why not. So if I were still driving, for example, I'm self-quarantining for my wife's sake. She is at a much higher risk, but I don't think I can claim any of this financial aid because of her. It has to be for me. But if she were still driving, and she stopped, I think, long enough ago that she's not going to get anything for this, then she could say, "Hey, I've got Crohn's disease. I'm at a much higher risk of being deathly ill if I catch this, so I have to self-quarantine." She could easily prove that. So, again, it's a little late in the game, but I'm happy that, heck, something else good came of this. I'm just going to be curious to see if people will easily be able to get their checks this time, because people have really been fighting Uber and Lyft, in all fairness, to get these payments, and they have not made it easy. They have actually made it extremely difficult to get these payments. So, we're just going to have to see if they clear that up. But anyway, that's the news story for this video. For those in the future who are watching this after on, if you are not interested in the following conversation, this is where you can end the video, like it, comment below, all that jazz. For those of you who are still here and you are doing this live, or maybe you do want to just see the conversation, we are going to continue with this live stream for at least another 20 minutes, maybe longer, who knows, and just kind of hang out a little bit. So I see people are in the comment section. I'm going to start reading some of the comments. I'm going to go back to the front if I can get this to work. There we go. And now let's start answering. So we've got Sonia, we've got Mark here, we've got Jody here, we've got Happy Loss, we've got William here, and Sonny says, "I've been deactivated by Uber for almost a year." Well, thanks for continuing to watch my videos. I never trusted Uber at all and never will. I confronted Uber support so many times I got deactivated because of rider's complaint. 3 complaints. Yeah, that's how it works. I mean, how else are you going to get deactivated? Someone's going to complain about you. Mark says, "Better late than never, but shocking that Uber has not been more proactive." I'm not shocked at all that Uber's not been more proactive. Uber is not proactive when it comes to the drivers. They just aren't. And for that matter, their CEO, Dara Khosrowshahi, he still has not docked his pay in support of the drivers or the engineers or the people who are not able to come to work at Uber. He has not done anything, so I'm not surprised at all. Happy Loss says, "Has anyone got a stimulus check yet?" I know a few people who have received their stimulus checks, direct deposit, of course. And from what I understand, most of us will be getting the stimulus checks by Wednesday, if we had direct deposit. If you don't have direct deposit, you will still get the check, but it will be mailed to you. That might come quite a bit later. Rick, hey Rick, how you doing? I like a little yappy, chatty time. Yep, that's what I like too. Hey Sherry, how you doing? Hi, Abstract Echo. Hey Clark, Sunny said it wasn't my fault. It normally never is. But They won't care. Mark says, I am in MA and gig writers can file at the end of April. So yeah, I don't know a whole lot about that, to be honest. I know it's bad. I should be keeping up with it a little bit more, but I'm more interested in how the companies are. And to be honest, it's because obviously I don't qualify for unemployment when it comes for Uber and stuff. Like, I mean, I can't go to the office and say, "Hey, I'm an Uber driver and I want to file for unemployment." It's like, really? When was the last time you drove? Oh, about 2017, I would say. So I'm not paying that close attention to how you get the unemployment. But again, there's a lot of Uber tubers who are, Dustin, Real Rideshare Stories. There's a couple. There's like a couple more that are, yeah. So there's a few that are actually explained. Rideshare Professor, I believe. So there's a few that are actually like holding your hand and showing how you can get this. So that's positive that they're out there. Mark says, I work in hospitality also, and yes, 34 UI checks and the first $600 weekly additional account. Oh, well, awesome. And Clark says, J. What's J mean? Jody says, I think when the pandemic settles down, there are three major countries that are going to war with China, are the US, the UK, and the Middle East. China is in a world of trouble right now. I don't think it's going to be the war that you think it is, though. I don't think it's going to be with guns blazing or anything. It's going to be a very silent war that will nonetheless do much, much harm. I believe there will be a strong push from these countries to the companies who do business with China, and China does business with everyone. You are to start pulling out of China. You are to start making stuff in your own country again. If you continue to make stuff in China, we will tax you, we will fine you, whatever you want to call it. We're going to create a China tax to where it is much cheaper to make stuff here. They will also start mandating, I believe, that essential items not be dependent on China. So right now, one of the biggest controversies is that there's like a lot of prescriptions that we can no longer get because we were dependent on China to provide them. That cannot continue. So I believe like pharmaceutical company stuff is like, okay, look, you can do some business with China, but you have to be able to manufacture this stuff here. And if you can't do that, then we are going to fine you until you do make it here, because we cannot be dependent on a foreign country for our own supplies. We can trade with a foreign country when we need those supplies, but some of the shortages that we have could have been totally avoided if we made at least some of that stuff here. Also, I believe some companies might even see a personal financial gain. Like maybe they won't move everything back to America, but they're like, okay, we're going to make this much stuff here in America, and then we'll import the rest from China. So if there's ever a position that we're in again where the world is shut down, we have some way to manufacture it here. That I believe that's what's going to happen. Hey, we've got 39 people here. Hey, if you haven't given the video a thumbs up yet, please do. I really appreciate it. Clark says, Jay at Rideshare Guy is following all the incentive and UE stuff. Yeah, it makes sense that he would be following that stuff because he actively drives and he's very good at it, by the way. So I'm not surprised he's doing that. Mark says, I'm more concerned about the divide between the federal government and each state government. I'm not concerned about that. I mean, honestly, the government's working the way it's supposed to be doing. I mean, I know a lot of people want Trump to just issue martial law and shut everything down, but it's like, no, the president is not supposed to be a dictator. The president governs over the whole United States, but it's still the individual governors who make main calls for each state. The president's not supposed to say everyone does this except in extremely dire situation. And what's frustrating about this is the only reason people are asking for that is because a lot of state governors have not been very firm in their resolve on fixing the problem. So that's why people are asking for it, but really it's working the way it's supposed to work. All right, so breaking bread delivery. I love that. It's come be a manufacturing war. Taiwan already started with $2.2 billion to start building new factories in its own country. Yep. See, that's what's going to happen. Like they're gonna start bringing the stuff back here. And here's the thing. I mean, I know that China makes it cheaper. That's why we do so much business with China. But the thing is, China really does have egg on their face right now. They started this problem. They held up essential items we needed because they couldn't make them and therefore we couldn't get them. And then, of course, they tried to blame us for the pandemic, which left a sour taste in a lot of people's mouths. So we will not be like, we won't be like nuking them or anything, but we will be slowly taking our business away from them. And that's going to be the war with China. All right, so Rick Review says, so much for the global economy. No, the global economy will still exist. It will still exist. We will still trade with China and Italy and Japan and Taiwan and Russia. We will still trade with them. But this is a lesson for all the countries. Like, hey, have some of that in your own country. Don't completely depend on another country because you never know what's going to happen with them. And by the way, we were in trouble before the virus even hit us because we depended on things from them that we could no longer get because they shut down. So that's how it works. Roger says, it's too late. We have more rockets than masks. Well, I mean, we don't have to fire those rockets. And Jordan says, majority of countries owe China money anyway. Yeah, and that's like another issue that needs to be addressed. Like, you know, China owns a lot of our debt and we need to not have that be the situation. And this is not going to be something that gets solved in a couple of years. It's going to take a long time to get out of it, but we will start inching towards getting out of it. And Mark says, so tracking they do in China may well be what occurs in America in time. I am concerned about that. In fact, it scares me a little that Apple and Google announced that they were going to be creating a new tracking system that would alert you when you came into contact with someone who has the virus. And I'm not okay with that. I mean, yeah, look, it sounds useful, but once you implement that technology, it's very hard to unimplement it. And that's basically them saying like, yeah, we're looking at your medical records and we're updating other people on your medical records. That removes a lot of privacy. So I do not like that at all. Jody says, I heard that Trump not let any more Chinese in the country unless you're Chinese already. Well, basically, he's only letting citizens come in. He's only letting citizens come back to the country. And during times like this, that's perfectly normal. That is perfectly normal. Now, the immigration system will open back up again once we got this under control. But yeah, for the time being, and it's not just Chinese, it's everyone. It's everyone. Like, hey, you're not coming to America unless you lived here. And you have to do the paperwork thing. So it's not just a China thing. David says, I heard the Instacart bait and switch tactics pulled on me yesterday. Yeah. Oh, yeah, that we definitely need to. I don't know if should talk about that now, but I'm going to be making a separate video for that. Trust me, because that's worth discussing. So let's see here. Breaking bread delivery. Everyone who dies is counted, even if they are not tested for this. That's not entirely true. So the new economy is emerging. Yep. Well, hey, we've had new economies before. We had a new economy in 2011. It happens. That's just life. Hey, go Donnie. How you doing? And Jordan says, Facebook has been using the same tracking technology for a long time. Ever notice when you spend time around someone, they suddenly show up in your suggested friends list? Yeah, I noticed that. I'd definitely noticed that, and it's creepy. You also, by the way, everyone has a Facebook account, even if they don't sign up for Facebook. They call it like a shadow profile, where people start talking about people and events they're doing, and the algorithm starts picking up on stories from people who are not Facebook people, but they kind of take a note of it, and then the longer time goes on, they gather more information about that person, and they create like a shadow profile so that they know who you are, even if you don't have a Facebook profile. Facebook is definitely a little on the creepy side. Let's see here. Okay, you're wrong with that question, that answer. I have someone that works at the funeral home. Anything other than the disease is counted different. Sorry to... I don't think I don't think they're actually doing that. I'm sorry. No offense to your friend at the funeral. Your friend at the funeral home. Funeral homes don't count reasons for death. They don't write the death certificates. Doctors do. So I don't know what you're talking about, to be honest. Amazon is still taking heat. Yeah, Amazon's going to be taking heat for a while. They are. Yeah, let me look that. Yeah, Jordan, let me look up the shadow. Let me look it up and just make sure that I'm getting this correct. Facebook shadow profile. Yep, so come on. That would be interesting if that article got removed. There it is. There it is, and it's from the New York Times, Facebook's surveillance machine. And let's see. Let's see here. Where is the relevant? It's like. One moment. Let me find the important part. Yeah, here's the important. Facebook even creates shadow profiles of non-users. That is, even if you are not on Facebook, the company may well have compiled a profile of you inferred from data provided by your friends or from other data. This is an involuntarily dossier from which you cannot opt out of in the United States. There it is. New York Times wrote it right there. So New York Times, I mean, they have their mistakes too, but they're usually pretty good. So Rick says, I tried to delete my Facebook profile pic for a long time. They wouldn't allow it, maybe until 3 months ago. Mark says, Facebook as creepy is an understatement. It is creepy. Yeah, Facebook just told me you were alive. Come on, man. Under in the witness protection program, I don't have any problem with identity. I just had a beard and glasses on. Okay. Rick says, 3 years ago on Facebook notified me of a friend that also happened to be in Vegas the same time I was. And Mark says, Facebook is Big Brother. I agree. And let's see here. Let's see here. Go9 says, they have the death certificate in each funeral home when you get married. There's a D at the funeral home that you have to pick up. It is logged in at each funeral home. God. Well, okay, maybe the people that they're getting them from are all dying from the virus then. I'm sorry, that's not proof of anything. Rick says, I don't mind Facebook so much, but it really bothers me when parents put their children's and baby photos online, invading privacy. Well, in their minds, they're not invading privacy because it's like only friends are supposed to see those pictures. But again, with the shadow profiles, you start mentioning the names of the kids, you start listing ages throughout the years, you're putting information in. We went to Legoland, we saw this movie, this person just got a LeBron James t-shirt, and Facebook is just remembering this stuff to when they finally create their profile, they've got all this data on you and they can sell that data to advertisers. So Jordan says, even in recent weeks in Tennessee, wait, is that Tennessee? TN? Maybe. The letters confuse me sometimes, folks. The government has been talking about tracking the population anonymously through cell phones data to tell if people are obeying the lockdown orders. Yep, that's not right in my opinion. I mean, I definitely think people should stay at home, but you know what? Yeah, that's going overboard. Jody says, they installed these automatic gates at the front doors at my Walmart. Yep. Well, Walmart's always had automatic doors. Maybe you're talking about something else. Andy says, this is the time we should quit Uber for good and just file unemployment. I think drivers get more than they earn driving. They do, and I mean, I think a lot of people will quit Uber long term because this is definitely a wake-up call that Uber... I mean, even if it was like, if you were making a go at it, Uber is not sustainable at all because it's like, I mean, look, yeah, they're offering unemployment now, but it's a stimulus unemployment. It's not going to be there when this situation is over. It's not. And Uber will not provide that for you. Uber does not pay enough for the most part to have a savings. So I think people are going to realize they need to focus on getting jobs where they can like build a savings and they can have 6 months to live off of just in case. I don't think we're going to have an issue like this again. Now, I believe if there's ever like even a whiff of a virus, they're just going to be hardcore. Okay, nobody goes in and out of that country until we know exactly what's going on. So, oh, the coyotes are out. Can you hear that? Wow. They're loud tonight. Can you hear that? I don't know if it's going to be easy to talk over them, but we'll see. Wow, that was crazy. So Jordan says installed automatic gates, but they still have piled up shopping carts to make entrance lines outside the. Yeah, well, because that's a temporary solution. Um, so let's see here. Abstract Echo says once you post anything on the internet, you lose control over it. I agree. And Jordan says reminds me of that Batman movie where they used the cell phone data to spy on all of Gotham. Yeah, The Dark Knight. Yeah, that was done in response to the Patriot Act. So there you go. Hey, Manuel, how you doing? And Jody says, I mean, they are like a turnstile at the front doors. Oh, okay, I see what you're saying. Mark says, I believe the death nail has been dealt to Uber and Lyft. Well, probably Lyft. Uber will probably survive because Uber is making money on the Uber Eats. So Mark says, my dog hears the coyotes. Yeah, no, we have coyotes here. So yeah, it sounds like they're in the house, but they're not. They're absolutely not. But I do live near like a little creek, believe it or not. And funny enough, it's not like it's a big creek, but there are coyotes that live there. So that once in a while you hear them. So let's see here. So Sunny says new Ebola case logged in DRC days before outbreak expected end of confirmation of new case comes. Just days before expected declaration of end of 20-month outbreak. That's a shame. Yeah, they are loud. The coyotes make that sound when they found food. Yeah, no, it was crazy. Andy says, I worry about the drivers risking their lives for pennies for this virus. It's not worth it, and Uber wants drivers to keep working with no payoff time unless you have it. Well, that's what this video was about. They are expanding that a little so that if you are more sustainable to it, then you will still be covered for it. Let's see here. Donnie says, don't have many more people to drive. People will be lining up once everything gets back to normal. People will drive. Just human nature. I agree. Rick review. Somebody's pet chicken might have just they probably got well, I don't know if we have any. You know what? Unfortunately, it's probably a cat. To be honest, it's probably a cat because there's pet cats everywhere. They walk around. They might have got a pet cat, unfortunately. I miss Chinese food. They are all closed up. Yeah, I can agree. Can you drink from your creek? Not that I'm aware of, and not that I'm going to try. Didn't Uber sell Uber Eats? No, they did not sell Uber Eats. Hey, we've got 43 people. If anyone hasn't thumbed up, please do. I've caught up to all the comments. So, yep, got up to all the comments. Did not skip a single person or anything like that. So, do we have any more questions? Any more? What happened to the beanie? It's in the wash. It's in the wash. Have to wash it once in a while, and I realized it was there. So now we're doing this nice official YouTube cap that Dark Road Run has given me. In fact, he gave me a few of them for prizes. We were going to use them for a fundraiser, but then I got sick the weekend, so now they're going to be safe for another fundraiser, most likely. Mark says, I applied for my SBA $10,000 grant today. I believe I will be approved and money in the bank by next Friday. Well, I hope so. Jordan says, it's probably illegal to drink out of a creek in California. Probably. California has strange laws. Manuel says, I feel bad for Peterson. I seen his... Yeah, Peterson... he probably uploaded another video. See, I talked to him on the phone, so I don't go to his channel as much as I probably should these days. But let me look this up and see what the latest is with him. So I'm subscribed to 116 people. Wow, like that's 116 people. This pretty much goes to show how many people start rideshare channels and then don't really don't really keep them updated. So that's the last video. Yeah, no, I saw that video already, so I know what you're talking about. All right, let's get back to this. Andy says, Kevin, good news is that California pollution went down 70% and clear blue skies. You can see DTLA from OC. Yeah, no, you can. And that's one of the reasons why I hope working from home becomes more of a mainstay. I think it's going to be around for a while, especially as we slowly reopen the economy. I mean, we're going to have to take baby steps. It's not going to be like, okay, everyone can go back to doing what... No, I think they're going to say, look, one of the things, you're going to have to just stay home for a while. You go to restaurants, only so many people allowed inside. I mean, they're still, we're just going to have to adapt until this thing is more or less eradicated. Because thankfully viruses can be killed. Jody says, I heard the government is going to take away any pastor's license that continues to have... No, that is not true. That is not true. They will, however, suspend your license if you are in a stay-at-home state, where they are saying do not congregate, no more than 10 people. And if you put out a message like we are going to have a service, come one, come all, we're going to shake hands, everything like that, then they will take away your license. But no, if you're doing this online, they don't care. They don't. Mark says the SBA application was complete in 20 minutes and very straightforward. Well, that's good. Let's see here. I will check out Peterson's page after this. Will you still have Easter dinner with Katie? Yes. Actually, it's going to be our first Easter as a married couple, and her dad taught me how to make a ham. So I got a ham, and I'm going to use his recipe. It's not going to be like a huge ham. It's like this big because there's just the two of us. So to get one that's this big for $40, no, not 40, like $100, it's like, let's get one this size for 20. So, but we're going to make our own little ham and maybe a can of corn. So, that's what we're going to be eating. Like, what is that gang sign you do in your video? This isn't a gang sign. This is the live long and prosper gesture from one Mr. Spock from Star Trek. It means live long and prosper. It's not a gangster sign at all. So anyway. You're welcome, Laka. Let's see. You're getting a ham also. Love corn also. Yep. So ham, corn, and some green peas. That's going to be the meal on Sunday. And then afterwards, we're going to watch the Passion of the Christ, which I watch not every Easter, but most Easters. Oh, Spock was the best. Mila, hey, Kevin, how are you doing? Oh, doing fine. We're just doing a random ask anything you want. It's like a live stream. Well, it is a live stream. So there you go. Trekkies Unite. Yeah, well, yeah, I guess I'm a Trekkie at this point. Well, actually, I should probably show. My movie collection's getting way too big. Way too big. But we just put the shelf up. Just put the shelf up. And look at that. Look at the 10 Star Trek movies. Like, this is what makes physical media fun. Collecting things like this that take up way too much space on your shelf. So we got a new shelf over there, by the way. And we even have the new Kelvin timeline movies, including a couple 3D Star Trek movies. So there you go. I guess I'm a Trekkie. So, what's it like with face down there and with face masks down there in LA? It's people are walking around with masks. I mean, it's a little eerie to watch, but you kind of get used to it. And I know the masks aren't forever. Watch the 10 Command. Oh yeah, the 10 Commandments. That's right. Or I could watch The Prince of Egypt, because I actually like The Prince of Egypt a little bit more. Jody says, I think because schools are closed, that reality will set in. People will finally start spend less money. Well, I'm sure they're spending less money now because there's not much to do. Chinka01 says, has anyone taken advantage of the PPP from the stimulus bill that you know of, Kevin? I assume someone has. I don't know anyone personally, but I'm sure they have. Mark says, guess you are a Trekkie. I guess I am. I mean, 3D. And you know what? I actually have two 3D TVs. I can actually put on the glasses and watch this in 3D, and it's awesome in 3D. It's totally awesome in 3D. Hey, Joe's Driving, one of my YouTube members. I love your live long and live long and prosper hand pose. It's like your calling card. Well, it's gonna end when the pandemic is over. It's just it's kind of my way. It's my reassurance, like, it's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay. So that's my thinking right now. Yeah, I have a lot of shelves. I've also like that shelf. I'm putting a lot of TV series on that shelf. That's a movie collection, I know, but it's kind of I'm looking at all the shows I'm putting on that shelf, and it's like, boy, that's an interesting collection. In fact, we'll kind of show you. It's weird, but let's see here. We've got some Dragon Ball Z, and we've got Samurai Jack and Heroes and Citizen Kane, and we have Garfield and Friends, The Rose of Versailles. And here, actually, let's do this. And we have The Muppet Show and The Critic and The Boondocks. Like, none of these shows are even remotely like one another. Absolutely none of them. So, let's see here. Oh, it said rotate device, so I don't know if it was actually showing you all of that. But, hopefully it was. Let me plug this back in. So anyway, you can tell me if you saw any of that or not. But Happy says, my doctor's trying to get me disability for pre-existing conditions, but he says people have been denied. Has anyone here gotten approved for it? Well, I have not applied, so I couldn't tell you. Actually, like I said, there's going to be a live performance of Jesus Christ Superstar real soon. I've never watched Jesus Christ Superstar, which is weird. I love Broadway shows and I love Andrew Lloyd Webber, but I've never seen Jesus Christ Superstar. I don't know why. Let's see here. Do you think AMC will survive all this? I do. And I could be wrong. But here's why I think they will survive. I think they will survive because I think the studios are going to step in to save them. Because you have to keep in mind, AMC is the largest movie theater in the world. Now, people might be saying, oh, well, streaming is the future. And maybe it is, but the future isn't here yet. You can stream, but it's not making the money that the theater is. The theaters are still making the vast majority of the money. The theaters are where Avengers Endgame becomes a $2 billion hit movie. The theaters are where the Marvel movies like just clean the clocks in terms of success. The theaters is where Clint Eastwood can make his movies because his movies make enough money to justify the investment. So I think and of course, AMC is like one of the biggest sellers of popcorn, candy, Coca-Cola. So I believe all these companies will get together, not out of the goodness of their own hearts, but for survival, because it's like, hey, like, you know, like Disney, Warner Brothers, Paramount, DreamWorks, Lionsgate, all of them are going to have to come together. Like, look, we have to come up with a plan to save AMC because if they go down, we have a lot less options to show our movies and make more money. So that's one thing they can do. That it might be a Hail Mary thing, but they might come together and save them. Now, another thing that might save them, because all the theaters are getting the crap beat out of them, I could see a situation in which Cinemark and AMC, for example, merge and they become one company. And then they become big and powerful. Now, that would normally cause a monopoly, but because of Cineworld and their Regal theaters, there would still be competition out there. Plus, you have the independent theaters like Lemley and stuff. So that might happen. A third thing that could happen, someone could buy the theaters. I don't think anyone will. I know it's been floated that maybe Amazon could buy the theaters. I sure as heck hope not, because I think it's a huge conflict of interest to have a movie studio, you know, operating a chain. And Amazon has already been known to do things like with Hatchet Books, like, hey, we're going to buy this many books, and we want you to take this much, not this much. And Hatchet Book says, we can't do that. And Amazon says, well, we're not going to sell your books then. They've been caught doing that. So if they owned a movie theater, especially when they're opening their own movies, that could not be good. Because here's what's going to happen. Let's say, for example, the Fast and the Furious 9 comes out. Hey, you want to see it on the prime screen, on that really big screen? Oh, no, you can't have it because Amazon has the Aeronauts. Now, it doesn't matter that nobody wants to see the Aeronauts, although it's a good movie in all fairness. That gets the prime screen, and Fast and the Furious 9 has to have a regular screen. So I think that would be bad. But I think more likely than not, the studios and Coca-Cola and the candy companies, they will come together and they will see what can we do to save AMC. They will think of a plan. And here's the thing. Even if none of that happens, let's say AMC files for bankruptcy. That does not mean they're going to go out of business per se. Bankruptcy means they get to operate without paying their debts as they restructure. And if they show a major turnaround, which let's face it, going from nothing to something is definitely going to show a turnaround, they might get to survive. They might have to close some theaters, of course. They might have to sell an asset here or two, maybe the AMC digital platform, which there is a digital platform. So if you're concerned about AMC, rent a few movies from AMC on demand. Like, rent some movies from them and show them some support. But they might have to sell that, though. So, there's things they can do to get out of this in the long run. And the thing is, people will come back to the movies. And in fact, I even anticipate one of the things that the studios might do to save the theaters, if you will, is when the theaters reopen, they will give them classic movies. And they'll probably say, hey, you get to keep all the revenue from this, all the revenue. So you sell a ticket, which we normally take 90% of, you get to keep 100% of that ticket. And you do that for a month, and, their razor thin margins become huge margins at that point, and they might be able to pull themselves out of the situation they're in. So that's, there's things that can be done like that. So I think AMC will ultimately be fine. I was a little worried about it, but the more I think about it, the more it's like, there's a lot of companies that aren't paying their rent right now, and the landlords can't really evict them, so they'll probably be fine, but they're going to be hurting for sure. Oops, sorry. My nose is itchy a lot. Yeah, Nathaniel, I am up late. And okay, you got to go lock up lock up. All right. Yes, our next one will for sure be Well, actually, no, I'm not sure if it's going to be Sunday now that I think about it, because Sunday's Easter. So yeah, we might do it. You should watch the movie I Am Gabriel. So let me. I Am Gabriel? Let me look that up. I am Gabriel. Oh, it's a Pureflix movie. Okay. Well, I don't really like Pureflix that much. They rarely make a good movie, but I'll keep it in mind. Citizen Kane is my favorite. It's a lot of people. What's your favorite Star Trek movie? That's pretty easy. It's this one. Star Trek First Contact. I love this movie. I think I like it because more so than the other Star Trek movies, this actually seems like, I know what this sounds like, but it seems like a real movie. Like, it doesn't seem like it's a Star Trek movie. It seems like this is a movie just anyone can watch. So I kind of feel it's that way about Star Trek 4 as well. That one was kind of a little outside what was normally Star Trek. But I think those were the best ones, but this is definitely my favorite. I also love The Wrath of Khan, by the way. Let's see here. Hey, Crystal, how you doing? Kevin, do you still think rideshare will recover after stay-home orders are lifted, or will people realize that they may not really? Oh, no, it'll recover. Not right away. People have to get comfortable with the idea of going out and getting in contact with strangers again. So if the rideshare companies can hang in there till next year, it will recover. It's just not going to recover for a while. Manuel says, have you heard Instacart's? Yeah, I'm going to make a video about that on Sunday. Maybe on Sunday I'll make that video. Let's see here. I just got some Viacom CBS stock, and it's making me some money. Oh, I bought some Disney stock when it got down to $82. I am making bank on that right now. What do you think of socialized medicine in the USA? I don't. How should I put this? I'm perfectly fine with Medicare for all. I believe that can be expanded, but I do believe there should be private sectors as well. I believe you should have the choice. But am I against a universal healthcare system? Not necessarily. I think a lot of countries have shown that you can do it successfully. A lot of countries also show that when you don't have private healthcare, there are some hurdles involved. So I think America's smart enough that we could figure both out. So that's my personal thought on it. Mark says, I agree with your AMC analyst. So thank you. Hey, Steve, how you doing? Yep, I'm live. So, that's interesting. A YouTube emoji. That's kind of cute. Amazon buys movie theaters. It will be an antitrust. Actually, maybe not, because in fact, is it officially? Let me make sure, because I know this was being discussed. The Paramount decree, like effort to terminate the Paramount decrees. Let me So. Okay, so here's the thing. The Paramount decree does state that studios cannot own movie theaters. However, the Department of Justice, led by Ajit Pai, I believe, that wonderful guy, said that they would begin a review of antitrust decrees that did not have expiration dates. On November 18, 2019, the DOJ announced it would seek to terminate the Paramount decrees, which would include a 2-year sunset period to the practice of blocking booking and circuit dealing to allow theater chains to adjust. The department stated it was unlikely that the remaining defendants can reinstate their cartel as reasoning for terminating the decree. Basically, because of streaming services, there's no reason to have it anymore. I disagree with that, by the way. The DOJ formally filed its motion for a court to terminate the decrees on November 22nd, 2019. The move was opposed by independent movie theater owners, including the Independent Cinema Alliance and independent filmmakers. It has not actually been put into effect just yet, I believe. So, Yeah, if Amazon were to buy them now, I believe it would be an antitrust issue. But if the Paramount decree goes away, it would not be an antitrust issue, and that scares me. So Happy Last says, I think when the quarantine is over, a lot of people are going to be going out to movies instead of streaming movies. This might have saved the movie theaters long. Oh, I agree. Because here's the thing, a lot of people are saying, like, and some people like Clownfish TV, for example, who I love their content, but they are overtly doom and gloom sometimes. Like so overtly doom and gloom. Like they see like this is the future and we can't see how you can stop the future. And it's like, but you can't, but that's not the future necessarily. And they're saying like people might say, hey, I kind of like getting, new release movies at home and I can stream it. It's like, yeah, that was cool at first, but now when people stream Trolls World Tour, which you can stream today, I'm not. I'm going to the drive-in theater tomorrow to see that because it's like I want to get out of the house, even if it's to see Trolls. Um, they're going like, but thank God, something to watch. But people are getting tired of staying home. Like, like the whole notion of, hey, I just want to do everything from home now. Well, guess what? We've got that put into effect now. And people are like, man, I miss movie theaters. I miss parks. I miss concerts. I miss all these things. Like, so yeah, this might save the movie theater in the long run. You never know. Um, oh, okay. Mark says, bottom line, by 2035, I believe there will only be about 12 companies in the world. One will be entertainment. One is, and I hope that's not the case. I really hope. Hey Ben, how you doing? What do you do if you go to the store and all stores are sold out masks? Does anyone know you can find in my area? You could not find a single one. Could law enforcement arrest you because you can't find masks? I don't know yet. I hope not. But there's a lot of people on Etsy selling masks. They're homemade masks, mind you, but it's something. And again, the masks will not prevent you from catching the virus. What it does is if you have the virus and you might not even, know you have the virus, it will prevent you from spreading it, potentially. Hey, MH8, how you doing? Even when they start lightening up this quarantine, movie theaters won't be opening. No, they might open. They might open. I mean, they would probably limit the amount of seats that you could buy. Like, I can imagine like opening up my AMC app and seeing like many seats in the theaters blocked out. Like you just can't buy tickets for them. And a lot of them have two doors. So what they might do is like on one side you can walk in, and then the other side you walk out, and they might even have ushers there who basically to shuttle the people. So when the movie ends, they come out and they're like, okay, everyone stay seated. Okay, this row, walk out. Okay, this row, walk out. They will coordinate it. They will. In fact, the theaters might be hiring more people than ever if they have to do that because they basically have to have people dedicated to being there to tell people the correct way to exit until this is completely up. So I think there are ways they can do that. Ben says, also, can stores deny you services or let you shop in the store if you don't have a mask? Stores typically can deny you business for any reason. So that's... Kevin, can you briefly summarize and update me on the Uber financial program? No, I'm sorry, I can't. Well, we're going to be ending this live stream in like 10 minutes, so you can rewatch the first 10 minutes when we're done. Like your revenue sharing concept like NFL. Yeah, I agree. No favorite Star Trek movie. Is it because you don't have a favorite or because you don't like Star Trek in general? I'm kind of leaning towards that. Oh, the original cast. Well, if it's an original cast movie, I kind of already alluded to this, but I like this one the most. Like this was just a lot of fun. Although I do love the Wrath of Khan. I really like the Wrath of Khan. Let's see here. Try to watch Interview with God movie. Is that also Pure Flix? Let me look this up. Interview. An Interview with God. David Stratham. Really? That is interesting. Theatrical. Actually, This does sound interesting. Huh. Mostly positive reviews. Got some good actors in it. Apparently it was mildly successful. I actually recall my mother-in-law talking about this, and I kind of rolled my eyes because she doesn't really like the movies that I like. But this sounds like something I might want to watch. Actually, who knows? Okay. All right. Steve says, I felt that the Picard series was an overly extended movie instead of your normal TV series. I'm definitely planning on watching Picard very soon, especially now that it's free. Yeah, they just don't get just don't get sick. Oh. I wonder how long schools will be closed. Oh, fall at least. Fall at least. What's your favorite drink and snacks at the movie theater? You know, the funny thing is I don't really buy that many snacks typically. I will say the last few times I've gone to the theaters, I have definitely bought snacks to help them out. I like getting ices. I like gummies. I don't really like popcorn that much. Sometimes I like the chicken fingers, which are kind of edible. Now, when I go to the AMC Dine-In, I always take advantage of that because they make like real meals that you can watch during the movie, and they're usually very good. So I definitely like the AMC Dine-In. In fact, I'm wondering why hasn't AMC Dine-In basically offered food for takeout and delivery? Like that's a source of revenue they could have coming in right now. It couldn't save the company at this point, but it would be something. So I don't know. I don't know why they're not doing that. AMC going bankrupt. Well, they may not, but who knows? I think the stock market will crash once again since it doesn't make sense. The stock market going up, but employment reports are so bad, over 10 million. Well, yeah, but the thing is, at one point it gets so low enough that basically the stocks become half off. And it's like, well, you can't help but buy at that point. So that's why it's going up. I'm going to skip that comment, Manuel. I hope my 2035 comment never comes true. I love diversity. Yeah, I think it won't come true. I mean, even if this president doesn't particularly care if mergers do long-term harm, there will be presidents that do, and Amazon's getting a lot of flack right now. Like, I think Amazon's in a little bit of trouble when this is all said and done. Jesus Christ Superstar will air this Sunday at 7 p.m. Well, I will record it on my YouTube TV. But to fine people $1,000 for not wearing a mask is crazy. Well, I believe it is crazy, but you have to look at it from their point of view. Like when we started the shutdown thing, we did it with the hopes that people would just stay home. Like, don't go to the beaches, don't go to the parks. And what happens? The spring breakers come along and totally ruin it for everyone. And so now they're taking a much harsher stance. And it's not fair, and I don't like it, but you know, people did what they were supposed to do. Maybe they would. I don't know. Will you do a meet and greet after all this is over? I don't know. I'm gonna say that I probably won't be doing any more meet and greets for a while. For one reason, pretty much, and that's I get a heck of a lot of death threats on a near daily basis. And they've gotten so bad that I'm kind of at the point where it's like, unless security can be guaranteed, like when we went to Torsten's party, he had security there just in case, which, you know, was good. I don't think unfortunately, you know, I would probably say like, hey, we're going to have like a meet and greet at this location at this time. And someone's going to say, oh, I'm going to make sure to bring a gun and I'm going to shoot you. And it's like, well, at that point, you have to cancel it. You just have to cancel it. It's not a question at that point. I mean, you don't want to be bullied like out of a meet and greet, and I don't think anyone benefits from that. And yeah, there's a very real possibility the person is lying. They're not serious about it. But what if they are? That's the thing. You never know. So I think unfortunately the meet and greet days are over. However, if you do see me in the real world, and of course when the pandemic is not going on right now, you know, hey, say hi. I people who meet me, they can tell you I enjoy meeting you. I will usually shake hands. I mean, if you come up to me and you like, say, hey, you fat diabetic dwarf and stuff, it's like, well, okay, like the conversation's not going to go very far, to be perfectly honest. But hey, I otherwise I don't mind saying hi to people, but I think the meet and greets are probably a thing of the past at this point. Jody says, I think they will have to raise the wage when the pandemic is all over for various reasons. I don't think they're going to do that, and I don't think that's even going to be necessary because things will go down in price when this is all said and done. I mean, like, I'm expecting rent prices to just topple because of this. Because you cannot charge $3,000 for an apartment when 10 million people are out of work. You just can't. So it's all about revenue generation. I'm not wearing a mask, but the cops run from you and they see me on the... Okay, no. It only takes one troll who doesn't like you, Kevin. It's dangerous to meet fans in real person. Well, it's getting dangerous to do a meet and greet, so that's for sure. I would have had your back at tour. Oh, I know you would have. I appreciate that, but people are just so crazy now. As Superman once said, you can't solve society's problems with a gun. Did you quote the worst Superman movie ever made? I love you, don't get me wrong, but it's like, yeah, you quoted Superman 4, The Quest for Peace. Nobody likes that movie. If you do, that's fine. It's just, but anyway. Mark says, wow, I never realized you live with no, I don't live with that fear. I would not call it a fear. But the thing is, it gets you enough where you start thinking like, is it really worth even pushing? That's the thing. That's the thing. I mean, YouTubers get death threats all the time, but then you hear the random story where it's like, I know there was that one YouTuber who was like getting famous on YouTube because she was singing and she did a meet and greet and there was some crazy fan and he walked up, shot her. So it's not outside the realm of possibility. And even though people don't have to like me, there's a certain section of people in this community, like, not the tubers themselves, but like their fans who I read the comments. I've read the comments at the very least, and it's like they really don't like me. And they talk about what they would do if they ever met me, and it's like I probably shouldn't give them that opportunity. That's all I'm thinking. So, but again, if you see me in real life and you want to say hi because you're a fan or at least a viewer, and you relatively enjoy the content and everything, okay, I'll say hi. I'll shake your hand and everything, but I just don't think I can do that meet and greet anymore. Crystal says, Kevin, why would anyone want to hurt you? So many sickos in this world. Well, I've got a suspicion on why they'd want to hurt me. I think they were told by someone that I deserve to be hurt, but I kind of consider the situation to be closed for the most part. So I think you all know what I'm talking about, though. Do you wear a mask? Yeah. Yes, I do wear a mask. Kevin, you are nice to get threats. You are too nice to get threats. Well, I do, and I've shared them. So, and I mean, I usually delete the comments, but there you go. I think used car sales when the pandemic is over are going to probably. Oh, it was from you're right. It was from Superman 1. No, Superman 4 was the nukes. You can't solve the world's problems with nukes. That's what it was. Okay. So, I don't know if I'd call myself famous, though. I don't think I'd call myself famous. If I meet you, I would give you a hug if appropriate. Well, I don't like hugs, to be honest, but I'll shake your hand. I'll shake your hand. And yet for some reason I married someone who needs a hug every hour. Walks up to me and says, "Give me a hug," and but and again, the pandemic has to be over first, obviously. So anyway, hey folks, we did this for like an hour, so we're going to wrap this up. I think I'm going to go play some Phantasy Star Online or something like that. But anyway, thank you all for joining me. This was fun. Of course I let Katie hug me. Of course. I let Katie hug me and do a heck of a lot more. She is a big exception to the rule. She's a very, very, very big exception to the rule. I laugh that I married someone like that though, because you think that I would have married someone who was perfectly content just sitting on the couch, not interacting, because I'm very quiet that way in my personal life, and she's not. She actually, I'll be sitting there watching TV, perfectly happy to just do that, and she sits down and she sits next to me, and then she's like, and then she watch, it's like, so she's a very affectionate person. So that's my wife. I love her. I love her lots and lots and lots. She makes me very, very happy, and she also reminds me that I've got to be nice to people. So there you have it. Anyway, folks, that's where we are going to end this right now. Thank you for watching. For those of you who are watching this after the fact, if you watch this whole thing, hey, thank you for watching. Sorry that you missed the live stream, but hey, we still want to know what your thoughts on things are. So please do me a favor. If you comment below, like, favorite, share, subscribe, and as always, flame responsibly. Have a good one. And yeah, by the way, also, I did a video earlier today, or yesterday, if you're watching this the day of, I don't know. Yeah, that quiz video, skip the first 5 minutes and watch that quiz video. We're going to be doing that on a bigger scale in the future. So we'd want more people to join us for that. Have a good one.